Welcome to Pardon My Hunch, the show about the real decisions we make in business and in life, and the gut instincts we trust or wish we ignored. As always, the show is brought to you by the MIDE method. It's a process that we use and teach to help innovators and marketers nail a unique customer story and prove it will sell long before they ever build, launch, or scale the full thing. To find out more about how we can help you nail a killer vibe before you go live, you can go to gohunch.com. We have Ben Albert. He's the owner of Balbert Marketing LLC. Balbert, love it. Balbert Marketing LLC is also the founder of Grow Getters Only, which I love, and the host of the internationally recognized podcast, Real Business Connections. Welcome, Ben.
Hello, hello. I'm excited to be here, Terry. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. Ben and I were just ratting on about sports. So I'm going to maybe try to segue from sports talk.
Hey, whatever you want. I'm down.
What's that?
Whatever you'd like.
My armchair rants aside, right? All right. So, Ben, before we go into anything you want to say about your current role or what you're working on before I launch my first question at you?
I'm just having fun. My
Nice.
my goal in everything I do is to get the knowledge, the wisdom, the solutions from the people who have it to the people who need it. And the beauty, Terry, is I put myself in the needed category a lot of the times. I'm a lifelong learner, so you touched on it. Real Business Connections is where I get to learn and document the experience as a podcast for others. Our agency works with thought leaders and gets their podcast, their speaking, their content to more people. And as you mentioned, Grow Getters Only is for that peer to peer support. It's the community. So whether it's me as the student, me as the mentor, or me as a community leader for the peer to peer support, I think good conversations. I mean, in the AI world, like we can get the answer to anything, but there's a lot of beauty in the story. There's a lot of beauty in conversation. There's a lot of beauty in failures and hunches that go positively. And that's why this podcast is fun and I'm excited to be on it. So, yeah, that's a little bit about that.
I love it. Thank you for that. I would never have done that justice. I appreciate it. Love the passion. What came first, the agency, the podcast, or your Grow Getters community?
technically, technically, the agency, August 2020 is when I filed and I got an LLC. I didn't know that I didn't necessarily need an LLC to just like start freelancing, but I wanted to be all businessy and smart. And then November is when the podcast begun.
Did you intend to have the podcast? Was that always in the plan or did it sort of organically happen? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can go deep into the origin story, but the super short cliff notes is Music Ben was handing out flyers, music blog, music podcast called Rochester Groovecast. I had a music show in my hometown of Rochester, New York, starting in 2015. And like I was hosting events and I wasn't making any money on it, but I was getting into places for free and I was backstage. So that was cool. But
Ooh.
Music Ben during the pandemic got let go from his corporate role. So I was Music Ben on the weekend and night, but then corporate Ben, sales executive during the day, working for a marketing company. Now, corporate Ben got let go because we were doing video production all across the states, travel. There was no sales, there was no video. We had to basically cut people, and I was gone. So Music Ben's broke, unemployed, and non-essential. So then I had to create Business Ben, who's an entrepreneur. And I started with a Rochester business podcast because I was already doing the music thing. And I knew a
Yeah.
lot of people in the music industry locally, but I wasn't like some big name that everyone knows. I didn't know anybody in the business community. We were doing work all across the states. So I started a Rochester business podcast at the same time that I started my marketing firm because I was pretty decent at marketing. I didn't know everything. I was still learning. Uh, but I didn't know how to run a business at all. Had no clue what I was doing. So I was like, let's start a business podcast to learn how to business. And I'll bring on business leaders and business owners, and they'll teach me how to business. And the beauty, and I wasn't selling people, like I wasn't salesy. I do like having conversations, seeing if I could possibly help, but I wasn't being salesy, but I was having business owners on from Rochester, New York, and I was a marketer from Rochester, New York. I was in a minnow in an ocean of sameness. So I got in the smallest pond possible. And that's how it all began. It's just little old me who doesn't know how to business talking to business leaders to learn how. But a lot of those people became friends, mentors, and even clients because of it.
I love it. You figured out by doing.
Yeah.
My favorite. So I always open with a similar question, with any of my friends come on. You've already started, I think, down that path, but maybe not. But the question is there a moment in your career where you had a strong, we like to say hunch, right? Like a gut feeling about something, you followed it or it worked out or you didn't, either way. Tell me about it.
Yeah. I kind of skipped the script and dove right into it, I feel
No,
like.
I skipped the
'Cause,
script. That's okay. I
y-
wanted to hear a little bit of the backstory because I had a feeling that
well,
that might be part of it. But
well, and
yeah,
that was the hunch because just to reiterate like the metaphor, like of all the marketers, online marketers during a pandemic, I am literally a minnow in an ocean. So my hunch is how do I get in the smallest pond possible? And to me, I didn't choose a niche like I'm going to work with beauty hairstylist owners, or I'm going to work in the golf industry or football, or I'm only going to work on roofing businesses in my local. I didn't choose like a hyper specific niche, but I did choose Rochester, New York. And I knew I had been podcasting because of the music world. I wasn't like an expert. I was like still kind of learning. I wasn't like legit, but I'm like, let's go legit. Let's start a podcast and I can be the number one Rochester, New York business podcast. It's still a minnow, but I'm in a much smaller pond. So it's like, and I knew this intuitively, if I can't serve my own community, now if you're in a community of 40 people and 80 donkeys and it's just like the middle of nowhere, I get it. But I'm in a city with hundreds of thousands of people. If I can't serve my community, who am I to think I can serve the world? So I started in my hometown with business leaders. And a big hunch is like, I already said it, but like, I have services for business leaders. But business leaders are also my mentors. And now that I'm an owner, they're my peer. And the way I break it down nowadays is really simple. Pluses are your mentors, minus is your mentees, equals is your peers. And you want to build a network and a community of all three: mentors, mentees, and peers. And in a weird way, these people were all three. They were a mentor because they knew way more about business than me. They were a peer because we were both business owners. And they could be a mentee because I had a marketing background. So they were better at 99 things, but I could outdo them on the one. So, yeah, like I didn't have, it sounds super strategic and smart, but I didn't really know what would come of it. I just knew if I put my chips on this one thing, it's the best way I can think of to get in the door and get the meeting with anyone in my city. And business owners are showing up in their pajama pants to be on my podcast. And I became the biggest podcast in Rochester. Now it's called Real Business Connections. It once was Rochester Business Connections.
okay,
So
yeah.
I've branded for a bigger audience, but I still have a local show. Still have 150 some local episodes. And that was the beginning, just taking that hunch of I'm going to put my chips on this possibility. It was niched down and it worked out for the most part.
You said it intuitively. Intuitively, you felt this would work. This going local only, right? That's what you're referring to, right? This
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. That's how I'm gonna start small. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I literally, when I went to State University, New York, Brockport. So I'm a SUNY Brockport alumni. I went on LinkedIn. This is how hyper specific I was. I went
Oh,
on LinkedIn. I
yeah.
used the search term to look up SUNY Brockport business owners.
Yeah.
And then I sent a message like, hey, Teri, I see you went to SUNY Brockport as well. Congrats on making it big time. If they connected, I'd be like, hey, I have a music podcast, but I'm actually transitioning in the business world. Would you want to be featured as a local leader on my Rochester business I didn't have a name, but my Rochester business podcast. And everybody said yes. And I'm like, huh? I don't
Well, they're
even know.
business owners, right? They're primarily leaders or like owners, business
Yeah,
owners.
they were business owners.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you're
and and
getting
those,
your name out there.
and then I would ask them for introductions.
Yeah.
And that's how it all began. So there's actually a lot of sales and marketing strategy, but I did something that I had never read a handbook on. I'm sure nowadays, like, I could teach this. It's been taught. But I had never heard of this. I just put together an idea. Podcast, Rochester, New York, business owners, LinkedIn, SUNY Brockport. Let's see what happens. And I basically like hit 100, dude. Like it all worked out.
Yeah, I mean, like the idea that like you're the specific starting hyper specific and like there's already we've got something in common.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm doing this. This is local. Like there's so much I mean there's reciprocity, but there's just the whole why wouldn't I want to do that? Sure.
Oh,
I
it's the easiest pitch of all time. Hey, you're a business leader. Can I feature you to other Rochesterians and promote your business for free? All you have to do is talk.
is that a thing, Rogisterians?
Yeah,
You just coined that or is that a thing?
that's a thing.
We say Cincinnatians.
Cincinnatians.
Sad AFC fans, the two of us. Um,
I mean, I'm happy.
well, that's true.
Well, we were
That's true.
talking beforehand. I have family from Denver, so I'm a
Yeah.
Denver Bronco fan, and they've done good in my lifetime. John Elway, Peyton Manning, Bo Nix, Tim
True.
Tebow.
Yeah, I mean, like that. I don't really remember a time when they've stunk.
Yeah, even Tim Tebow made the playoffs and beat the
Oh
Steelers.
yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. Here we go. I'll find a way to turn any conversation into sports. All right. All right. All right. Oh my gosh. So, okay. My question. I'm so intrigued by the starting small to go big. You're hitting like a passion point of mine, specifically like product launches, and it's a hard thing for big brands, right? Because their playbook is immediately go broad, be for everyone. And we try to help them like go back, think like you're first starting out. Even though we're gonna put aside, you got to go broad, and like and it's all about specificity. It's easier said than done. You know, it's scary if you're not in the mindset that you're starting from scratch, right? But that I'm like, I can't wait to tell people this story. Just like the instinctiveness of picking something when you can serve multiple types of, you're not just dentists, you're not, you know, that sort of thing. You have the luxury of having a really tight description of a market. How else could you get specific? And I love the starting local. So did you have, so it's obviously business leaders talking business, right? But like, was there initially like a theme within that you were aiming for? Did one organically come about? Or tell me about like the content in the
yeah,
early days.
I mean, it was oh my God, in the earlier day, I don't even know. I don't even know if we want to watch that.
Oh no. Hey, we're just starting out too. So we're gonna want to, everyone's
It,
gonna want to watch this, Ben. Well, like
it's
what were the top, like I say, as far back as you can remember, like
yeah.
when you
No, I
were
remember
in
all of
Rochester?
it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what were the topics? Like what were people just
Everything.
talking about building their business? Like what were, give me an
Everything
example.
from finance to wild water fly fishing to everything you can think of, insurance to real estate to marketing to more marketing to leadership. You know, I was just bringing on people I was interested in and clicking record. Um,
Yeah.
I joke like, "Oh my God, do I really want to go back and listen to it?" The beauty of just clicking record is my entire, so it's 2026 at the time of recording this. I'm like, gotta pinch myself because I don't know any different now. But it's been a 5+ year journey and all of it's been recorded. So it's like, just it to me, the podcast isn't just like business podcast for X person with Y need. It's Ben documenting his journey.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of ego and selfishness in that. I do know and love my audience, but it's who I'm interested in, who I'm meeting, what's new, what's relevant, documenting the journey. And the reason I share that is because, like, if someone has a hunch that they want to start something and they're like, we're either going to stink or they're going to fail or it's not going to be good enough, they probably will stink. They might fail and it might not be good enough. But that's the beauty because then you have the before and after. You've got like the sparkle in your eye. You get started, you get momentum, and then you look back and you're like, wow, look how far we've came. So yeah, it was just conversations with local leaders. I would always add a Rochester slant to it, like food and dining suggestions or where will you go
Oh,
out for a
cool.
weekend, things like that. I kept it like Rochester slanted, but it was just a boring business podcast. It wasn't anything, crazy, but
I
I was
bet it wasn't
learning.
boring.
Yeah, it was
It
fun. I had an issue with my mixer the first 10 episodes. I didn't realize it. So
Oh,
like my
no.
audio sounds terrible. And I'm like, "Oops." But in November, and this is just like an example to show the grit. In November of 2020, we did an episode a day for the entire month, Monday through Friday. So we did
Wow.
22 episodes in 1 month. Then I went to 3 a week, then I went to 2 a week, et cetera, et cetera. But more equals more. Less is more, that is correct, but more of a good thing is more of a good thing. I didn't have a good thing yet. I didn't have a business yet. I didn't have clients yet. I didn't have a big podcast with sponsors or anything yet. So I'm like, let's have as many conversations as possible. And that's how I began building relationships that have led to business and friendships for 5+ years, all because I had a hunch and kind of just took a shot at it.
I mean, there's just something so powerful about like relationships and just having conversations. And like, if
Hmm.
we can turn that into an engine, for content, and there's something other people can get out of it, I just feel like it's such a cool reciprocity thing. I mean, I'm a conversationalist at heart. Like, I love hearing people's stories. And then I find myself repeating bits of those folks' stories to other people that are in sometimes seemingly very unrelated situations, but there's a dot I've connected, and so like that's what I think is so cool. But I also just love we spend too much time at work and our business to not be friends, and have some fun
Yeah.
with the people that we're talking with. I'm picking up that vibe from you. I'm definitely gonna go back. I'm listening to some of the old ones because I know they'll be fun.
I
And
literally
if
just
I'm a,
had coffee with my first ever guest today. I just realized that.
you really, oh
Yeah.
wow,
I
oh my
just,
gosh, have you ever like with COVID and everything, and now everything's on video. I just recently met somebody face to face for the first time after working with them on and off since 2020, and it's like
mm,
I actually felt like I pretty much knew them already because I would see them on video, whereas like in the years before that. I worked with a guy for 10 years and I didn't ever see his face for 10 years, but we talked on the phone all the time. And it was just weird, to meet him for the first time.
yeah. It's like having a pen pal.
Yeah, totally. A work pen pal.
Yeah.
So, um, all right. So, oh my gosh, I this, the grit, the doing it, the following the feeling, the finding a way to start in like a small way, a focused way before you go broader. All those things are awesome. Like, is there if there's anyone out there, whether it be a podcast or a product or whatever, a career change, where they're finding themselves, maybe spinning a little in indecision or how to do it, any tips or lessons you'd share from your journey from then to now?
I think Nike said it best.
Oh,
You know where
yeah.
I'm going with this one?
I'm assuming where you're going with this one. Just
just
do.
just do it. I mean, I could get on ChatGPT right now and get an answer. I can go on Claude and get a 5-step framework. Um, the reason they call it work is because you got to put in work, and the reason they call it work is because it works. If you work, I'm just making this up as I go. If
I
you
was like,
work,
this is good? I'm
if you
about to start
work,
writing this down then.
I feel like I'm like a pastor or something. If you work at work, it will work, but it'll only work if you put it
If
to
you
work.
work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man, I'm glad we're recording this one. That's a good cliche. We're going to coin it and let it sweep the nation.
it's good. It's well, and
I
here's
think inputs are everything. And I mean, my gosh, I've been, spent several decades now doing a lot of marketing research and consumer work. And sometimes we lean really heavily into the frameworks and the advice and the data. And it's like as good as what you put into it. And honestly, when you spend more time on the front end, you spend way less time on the method or the framework. You know what I mean? Like and like AI, it's what you put into it.
Mm.
It's not just going to magically give you something. You have to iterate all the things. You have to work then,
Yeah.
right? It's all about the work. All right. So, okay. Before we go, if somebody wants to get a hold of you or to network, just get in touch. What would be the best way to do that or to learn more about what you offer and do?
Yeah. I always like to invite them if you're like looking at YouTube or a podcast player or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
click thumbs up, click 5 stars, maybe leave a little review, send in some love. Maybe send one of us a DM if you want some serious brownie points. But the easiest way to find me is to take the words real business connections and type it into whatever platform you're already on. And if for whatever reason I failed you, you can just Google it or go to realbusinessconnections.com. But Real Business Connections is my podcast. It's also the name of the agency. There'll be a couple of links at the top where you can find other stuff. Or if you want to join a community of entrepreneurs, the easiest route for that is to go to weallgrowtogether.com. That's for grow getters only, weallgrowtogether.com. But there's 3 steps here. You got to leave a review here first. If you do that, I invite you to search Real Business Connections. And if you want more hands-on support, that's where I'd invite you to go to weallgrowtogether.com. But do those things in order.
Got it. Got it. 3 steps. Awesome. I mean, I'm doing the steps right after we hang up.
Nice.
Hang up. I just used like a 90s term. All right. So, as a reminder to everybody listening, this show is brought to you by the Vibe Method. It's a process we use and teach innovators and marketers to really nail your unique story and prove it will sell before you launch. To find out more about how we can help you nail a killer vibe before you go live, you can go to gohunch.com. The link to that will be in the show notes for those who are interested. And all right, until next time, always remember the worst thing you can ever do with a hunch is ignore it. And I mean that.